Hello everyone, this is Nathaniel Bandy, and I've done a lot of research on what I think the next tracks will be for the retro stages for Mario Kart Wii U. In order to do this, I needed to find out how often other tracks from the previous Mario Kart games were used. I kept track of how often tracks from each game were added, and from there I made a hypothesis that showed how many tracks from the past games have been added. I'll be showing you all the numbers so you can get a better grasp of this. Now don't worry, I know why you came here. You wanted to just see the tracks and that's this. But this is actually really interesting. So I'm just going to start off with the Mario Kart DS numbers right here of the amount of tracks that were added. And for Mario Kart DS, they started it off right, okay? They had 4 tracks from SNES, 4 from N64, 4 from Game Boy Advance, and 4 from GameCube. They did a really good job with that. So now let's move on to the Wii. They now have used 6 tracks from SNES, 8 from N64, 6 from Game Boy Advance, 8 from GameCube, and 4 from Wii. And overall, they didn't do too bad. That is somewhat okay job. They're trying to keep their tracks, available for future games. But notice something. SNES and the Game Boy Advance have 20 tracks in the game. So the Wii probably could have been, organized out a little bit better. But let's move on to Mario Kart 7, alright? This is where it gets really tricky. 8 tracks are used total now from SNES, 11 from N64, 7 from Game Boy Advance, 10 from GameCube, 8 from DS, and 4 from Wii. What is going on here? I mean, of course they did stick with their trend, how the newest 2 games will always have 4 tracks added. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm a little worried about the N64 tracks for the most part, okay? They used 3 for Mario Kart 7. Why did they use so many? And why did they only add 1 track from Game Boy Advance? They're gonna have Game Boy Advance tracks until like Mario Kart 15 or something. Like, this is not good for Nintendo for what they're trying to do. If they're trying to add a Mario Kart stage from every game into their retro tracks, they gotta be careful with what they're doing here because they only have 5 tracks now to use. So technically, they can only make 5 more Mario Kart games with every single track in it. That's just not good, man. So, you might be wondering, can this be fixed? I think it can be fixed, but it won't be fixed. So, here's my predictions on how they could fix it up here. Okay, so the best thing they could do is to now have 10 SNES tracks added, 12 N64, 10 GBA, 11 GameCube, 9 DS, 4 Wii, and 4 3DS. Now if you notice, I'm still sticking with the trend of adding 4 stages from the 2 newest games, of course. You may notice that only 1 DS track and only 1 GameCube track and only 1 N64 track are added, yet there's 3 Game Boy Advance and 2 SNES. Now this may seem a little weird and whatnot, Personally, I feel like this is the best way that they can solve their problem. Now, of course, I didn't make this video just to show off a bunch of numbers. I made this video to show off what stages I think will be in the game. But to do that, I had to figure out how many stages from each game should be added. So without further ado, I've organized all these stages into their cups, of course. So let's go through Shell, Banana, Leaf, and Lightning Cup. So there you have it, guys. Those are my predictions for the next retro tracks for Mario Kart Wii U. Please comment below if you have any suggestions for stages you think would be in the game, because I would love to hear about them. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. This is Nathaniel Bandy signing off.